My name is Jay Steele, and I'm a holistic nutritionist. I'm also the author of a newly published vegan cookbook called Get It Ripe. Today we're going to be making ginger sesame pasta salad. I love this dish because it's bright and colorful. It can be eaten cold, which means it's great to take to a potluck or on a picnic or for a packed lunch. It's also nice to eat on a summer evening when you don't feel like eating something hot. To start, we need to put on some water to boil, and that takes a while. So I actually have my water boiling already. So the first thing we'll do here is throw the pasta in the pot. I like to use brown rice pasta because it's gluten-free, and that means that it's kind of enjoyable for anyone and everyone to have, as long as they're not allergic to brown rice for some other reason. It's pretty close to using white pasta in terms of its texture and flavor and stuff like that. So just pour it in here and give it a little stir so that it's not sticking to the bottom or sticking to each other. And we'll set the timer for 7 minutes. We want to come back to the pasta 30 seconds before it's done so we can throw in the snow peas. So I'll just set the timer, and there we go. So now we can make the dressing. I like to make my dressings in glass jars. This glass jar used to be filled with almond butter, and I just saved it instead of putting it in the recycling. And glass jars are great to use to hold food or anything that kind of needs a tight fitting lid. So better than having to go out and buy new jars or new containers. So the first ingredient that we're going to use, you can either use olive oil to start or flaxseed oil. Flaxseed oil is a good source of omega-3, which is an anti-inflammatory, so that's a nutritionally beneficial oil. But olive oil is also great for you and has a nice flavor. So we'll just pour our first oil in here. And after that, we're going to put in some rice vinegar. This is organic rice vinegar, but if you don't have it on hand, I mean, you can get it at a health food store or Asian market, but if you don't have it available to you, then you can just use apple cider vinegar. For one of the most exciting flavors in this dish, we're going to use toasted sesame oil, which you can get at health food stores, Asian markets, wherever. And it might not always say toasted sesame oil on it, but it's the darker kind that you'll find, and it's really fragrant. And now we're going to put in tamari soy sauce. I'm always certain to use organic tamari because then you don't run the risk of it being produced with genetically modified soybeans. And another thing that I look for, because I don't eat wheat, is I look for a wheat-free tamari as well. Tamari is a higher quality soy sauce, which makes it nice. And then finally, we're going to our last two ingredients. This is a sweetener. You can use brown rice syrup or agave nectar. Here we're using maple syrup because that's what I have on hand today. Nice and more mineral rich than your regular sugar. And finally, we've got freshly grated ginger root. We'll just crumble this in. Really good stuff. Good for immune system, really great flavor. It's nice if it's really fresh, and when you grate it, it's kind of juicy. So put on the lid. While I'm shaking it, I'll tell you, the tool that I like to use for grating my ginger is a microplane rasp. You can get them with handles as well. But it's just a really nice tool. I know that other companies make them, but that's the one that I tend to use. So this salad dressing is now all nice and combined. Ooh, it's spritzing out just a little. And we'll just let the flavors meld together while we prepare our vegetables. I've actually got all my vegetables prepared or most of my vegetables prepared already, just chopped the way that I want them. But I am going to demo how to cut a bell pepper in a really neat way so that you can make it look really pretty. So the first thing I do is I chop off the top. Whoop. I'll just put that to the side. So now I've got my bell pepper. I'm going to stand it up on its end, and I'm going to cut into it from the top down and kind of move my way along. What I'm doing is I'm cutting off the little veins inside as I go along, kind of circling the base of the pepper. I'm being careful with my fingers, don't worry. And now I've got the core in one piece, which is really nice and not messy. And that part I can use, this part I'll discard. And then I've got this nice flat surface that I can do whatever I want with. So I can cut it into any sort of shape and size that I like. Just for kicks, I'm going to cut this into long strips, and then I'm going to make little triangles. You can actually find in Asian stores some cutters that are almost like cookie cutters, but they're made for vegetables. My stepfather has some that are in the shapes of goldfish and pigs and stuff like that, and roosters, so he can make little pepper cuttings of those on a flat surface like this. But in this case, we're going to make triangles. So I'll start with the top piece, and we'll just go back and forth. Always want to curl your fingers under when you're chopping so you don't chop them off. Red pepper. One thing that is important to note is the more colorful your meals can be, probably the more nutritionally beneficial they are. There's so many great things in all these colors. Like oftentimes when you see things that are bright red or orange or yellow, it means that they're a really good source of beta carotene. You know, they talk about how you should eat carrots because it's good for your eyes. You can see night vision, that kind of thing. And that's actually true. It's not just a wives' tale. It's actually very true. It's not just something your mother made up to force you to eat vegetables. So this meal is really nice because we've got a lot of different colors going on. We've got the red and the orange and a bunch of greens. In terms of other vegetables that you can use, we've actually been making this salad recently using red peppers. Sorry, not red peppers. We've been using purple cabbage and mustard greens and stuff like that. So those are other options.